وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِن قَبْلِكَ وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ.
Who believe in what has been revealed to you and what was revealed before you, and have firm faith in the hereafter. Who believe in what has been revealed to you and what has revealed before you. The fifth requirement is that one should believe in the books revealed by God to His prophets in the various ages and regions of the world. In the book revealed to Muhammad, peace be upon him, as well as in those revealed to the other prophets who preceded him. The door of the Quran is closed to all those who do not consider it necessary for man to receive guidance from God. It is also closed to those who, even if they believe in the need for such guidance, do not consider it necessary to seek it through the channel of revelation and prophethood, but would rather weave their own set of ideas and concepts and regard them as equivalent to divine guidance. This door is also closed to those who believe in divine books as such, but confine this belief to those books accepted by their forefathers, and spurn divine guidance revealed to anyone born beyond their own racial and national boundaries. The Quran excludes all such people and is prepared to open the source of its grace only to those who believe that mankind does not require divine guidance, who acknowledge that this guidance does not come to people individually, but reaches them through prophets and divine books, and who are not given to racial or national chauvinism, but are devotees of truth alone, and are therefore prepared to submit to divine guidance wherever it be found. And have firm faith in the hereafter. Belief in the afterlife is the sixth and last requirement. The term al-akhirah embraces a whole set of ideas. 1. That man is not an irresponsible being, but is answerable to God for all his conduct in this world. 2. That the present order of the world is not timeless, but will come to an end at an appointed hour known only to God. 3. That when this world comes to an end, God will bring into being another world in which He will resurrect at one and the same moment all the human beings ever born on earth. He will gather them together, examine their conduct, and grant each one just reward for his actions. 4. That those who are accounted good in God's judgment will be sent to heaven, and those judged by Him as evildoers will be consigned to hell. 5. That the real measure of success and failure is not one's prosperity in the present life, but one's success or failure according to God's judgment in the next. Those who do not accept this set of beliefs can derive no benefit from the Quran, for if a man is merely in a state of doubt and hesitation with regard to these matters, let alone disbelieving them, he cannot advance even one step forward along the path charted out by the Quran.
أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون.
Such people are on true guidance from their Lord. Such are the truly successful.
إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون.
As for those who have rejected these truths, it is all the same whether or not you warn them, for they will not believe. As for those who have rejected these truths, that is, those people who do not meet these 6 requirements or reject all or any one of the fundamentals set out above.
ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم.
Allah has sealed their hearts and their hearing, and a covering has fallen over their eyes. They deserve severe chastisement. Allah has sealed their hearts. This does not mean that their rejection of the truth is a consequence of God sealing their hearts. What is meant is that God sealed their hearts and ears as a consequence of their decision to reject the fundamentals of faith, of their deliberate choice of a path divergent from that charted out by the Quran. Anyone who has worked for the dissemination of the truth often finds that if, after full consideration, a person decides against a doctrine, his mind begins to move in a completely opposite direction, so that he fails to appreciate anything that is explained to him. His ears become deaf, his eyes are blinded to the merits of that doctrine, and one gets the distinct impression that the person's heart has indeed been sealed.
وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَمَا هُم بِمُؤْمِنِينَ.
There are some who say, "We believe in Allah and in the last day," while in fact they do not believe.
يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون.
They are trying to deceive Allah and those who believe, but they do not realize that in truth they are only deceiving themselves. They are trying to deceive Allah and those who believe, but they do not realize that in truth they are only deceiving themselves. These people delude themselves that their hypocritical behavior will profit them, when in fact it will prove harmful both in this world and the next. A hypocrite may be able to fool people for a while, but it does not last long. His hypocrisy is ultimately seen through. As for the next life, it is obvious that his claim to be a true believer is contradicted by his own actions and is thus quite worthless.
في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم بما كانوا يكذبون.
There is a disease in their hearts, and Allah has intensified this disease. A painful chastisement awaits them for their lying. There is a disease in their hearts, and Allah has intensified this disease. Disease here refers to the disease of hypocrisy. The statement that Allah has intensified this disease means that He does not punish the hypocrites immediately, but allows them to indulge in their hypocrisy and exult in the success of their ruses. This feeling of success intensifies their hypocrisy.
وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُصْلِحُونَ.
Whenever they are told, "Do not spread mischief on earth," they say, "Why? We indeed are the ones who set things right."
أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ هُمُ الْمُفْسِدُونَ وَلَكِنْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ.
They are the mischief makers, but they do not realize it.
وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ آمِنُوا كَمَا آمَنَ النَّاسُ قَالُوا أَنُؤْمِنُ كَمَا آمَنَ السُّفَهَاءُ أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ هُمُ السُّفَهَاءُ وَلَكِنْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ.
Whenever they are told, "Believe as others believe," they answer, "Shall we believe as the fools have believed?" Indeed, it is they who are the fools, but they are not aware of it. Whenever they are told, "Believe as others believe," they are being asked to become Muslims in the same manner as others of their community became Muslims, that is, honestly and sincerely. They answer, "Shall we believe as the fools have believed?" They think that those people who sincerely embraced Islam and thereby exposed themselves to all kinds of trials and persecutions and confronted risks and dangers were merely fools. To them it seems sheer folly to invite the hostility of the entire land merely for the sake of truth and righteousness. In their view, wisdom consists not in bothering oneself with the distinction between truth and falsehood, but in remaining concerned only with one's own interests.
وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ قَالُوا إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُسْتَهْزِئُونَ.
When they meet the believers, they say, "We believe." But when they meet their evil companions in privacy, they say, "Surely we are with you. We were merely jesting." When they meet the believers, they say, "We believe." But when they meet their evil companions in privacy, they say, Satan in Arabic means refractory, rebellious, and headstrong, and is used for both human beings and jinn. Although this word is generally used in the Quran for the Satans amongst the jinn, it is also used occasionally for human beings possessing satanic characteristics. The context generally explains whether the word Satan refers to jinn or to human beings. In this particular case, the word Satans refers to those influential leaders of the time who were in the vanguard of opposition and hostility to Islam.
الله يستهزئ بهم ويمدهم في طغيانهم يعمهون.
Allah jests with them, leaving them to wander blindly on in their rebellion.
أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى فما ربحت تجارتهم وما كانوا مهتدين.
These are the ones who have purchased error in exchange for guidance. This bargain has brought them no profit, and certainly they are not on the right way.
مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما أضاءت ما حوله ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون.
They are like him who kindled a fire, and when it lit up all around him, Allah took away the light of their perception and left them in utter darkness where they can see nothing. They are like him who kindled a fire, and when it lit up all around him, Allah took away the light of their perception and left them in utter darkness where they can see nothing. This means that two opposite effects emerged when a true servant of God radiated the light, which made it possible to distinguish true from false and right from wrong, and made the straight way distinct from the ways of error. To those endowed with true perception, all truths became evident, but those who were almost blinded by the worship of their animal desires perceived nothing. The expression, Allah took away the light of their perception, should not create the impression that these people were not responsible for their stumbling into darkness. Only those who do not seek the truth, who prefer error to guidance, and who are adamantly disinclined to pursue the truth despite its luminosity, are deprived by God of the light of their perception. God simply enables such people to do what they wish.
صم بكم عمي فهم لا يرجعون.
They are deaf, they are dumb, they are blind. They will never return to the right way. They are deaf, they are dumb, they are blind. They have become deaf to hear, dumb to utter, and blind to perceive the truth.
أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت والله محيط بالكافرين.
Or they are like those who encounter a violent rainstorm from the sky, accompanied by pitch-dark clouds, thunderclaps, and flashes of lightning. On hearing thunderclaps, they thrust their fingers into their ears in fear of death. Allah encompasses these deniers of the truth. Allah encompasses these deniers of the truth. By thrusting their fingers into their ears, they temporarily deceive themselves into believing that they can escape the catastrophic end that awaits them. However, they cannot escape that end since God, with all His might, encompasses them.
يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمعهم وأبصارهم إن الله على كل شيء قدير.
It is as if the lightning would snatch their sight. Whenever it gleams a while for them, they walk a little, and when darkness covers them, they halt. If Allah so willed, He could indeed take away their hearing and their sight. Surely, Allah is all-powerful. And when darkness covers them, they halt. The first parable refers to those hypocrites who disbelieved completely, but had become Muslims merely to further their worldly interests. The second parable refers to those who were prone to doubt and hesitation, or whose faith was weak, who believed in the truth but not to the extent of exposing themselves to hardships for its sake. The violent rainstorm here alludes to Islam, which came to the world as a blessing. Pitch dark clouds, thunder and lightning refers to the trials, tribulations and difficulties which confronted the Islamic movement, owing to the violent opposition and resistance of those committed to ignorance. The last part of the parable portrays the state of mind of the hypocrites. They move a little ahead when circumstances seem favorable, but when either difficulties cloud the horizon or when they are given directives which run counter to their desires or inherited prejudices, they are seized with alarm and come to a halt. If Allah so willed, He could indeed take away their hearing and their sight. Surely, Allah is all-powerful. Just as God has completely deprived the first category of hypocrites of their light of perception, He could have rendered these other hypocrites totally blind and deaf. But it is not God's way to deprive anyone of sight and hearing, while He is willing to see and hear. Hence, God allowed them to retain their sight and hearing to the extent they were prepared to see and hear the truth.
يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون.
O mankind, serve your Lord, who has created you as well as those before you. Do so that you are saved.
O mankind, even though the message of the Quran is addressed to all, benefiting from it depends on one's willingness and on God's succour in relation to that willingness. This is why the Quran first explained which kind of people can and which kind of people cannot benefit from the Quran. As this has been explained in the foregoing verses, the quintessence of the message to which the Quran invites all mankind is now put forth. Serve your Lord, who has created you, as well as those before you. Do so that you are saved. So that you are saved from false beliefs and unrighteous conduct in this life, and from the punishment of God in the next.
الذي جعل لكم الأرض فراشا والسماء بناء وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرج به من الثمرات رزقا لكم فلا تجعلوا لله أندادا وأنتم تعلمون.
It is He who has made the earth a resting place for you, and the sky a canopy, and sent down water from above, wherewith He brought forth fruits for your sustenance. Do not, then, set up rivals to Allah when you know the truth.
Do not, then, set up rivals to Allah when you know the truth. That is, when man recognizes that all those things were done by none but God, then worship, devotion, and service must be exclusively for Him. For who besides the Creator can legitimately claim these things from man? Not to set up others as rivals to Allah means not to make anyone other than God the object of worship, service, and obedience that one owes to God alone. Later on, we shall see in some detail how the Quran itself specifies the forms of worship and service which we owe exclusively to God, and wherein associating anyone else amounts to shirk, associating others with God in His divinity. This the Quran seeks to eradicate.